We just had Sony's PlayStation announce their new Spartacus subscription service, which was met with some backlash, especially when it was being compared to Microsoft's dominant service, Game Pass. Yet the big story was the fact that Xbox actually responded to these new PlayStation subscriptions. Let's get into what was being reported and also talk about the numbers behind these services, because it's obvious that Xbox truly does dominate this area when it comes to gaming. So let's get into it. Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, hit that small little bell icon. And if you want to go the extra mile to support the channel, hit that join button. So enough of that. Let's get right into this response that Xbox had for PlayStation when they announced all of those tiers for their new PlayStation Plus subscription service. You know, the service that charges for back compat on PlayStation 3 games, that doesn't have first-party games in their day and date. Yet, I digress, I know. Let's see what Xbox had to say about this whole thing, but also look at the statistics of what Jim Ryan is saying and also what Game Pass is all about. The first thing I want to mention is the fact that Xbox was straight savage on social media. Here's what they posted. We love options. Play brand new games on day one, capitalized. Blockbusters and indies, Xbox Game Studios, EA Play, ID at Xbox, and more. Okay, so this is pretty amazing to see. Xbox actually shows how much value they have over their competition. Because like I've always said, no matter what, I want both companies to compete at the highest level of competition. And this isn't the only response that Xbox executives and Xbox had. Here's Aaron Greenberg, who's one of the lead marketers at the whole company. Love the value we give our fans to play all of our first-party games on console and PC at launch. As you can see, these were in direct response to what Sony's PlayStation announced, with them basically talking about PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus and pretty much melding them together into the subscription service. It was a rebranding centered around PlayStation Now, and they wanted to make a splash with this news and maybe, just maybe, get some more subscribers that will join their service. Instead, it actually showed the value Xbox has with Game Pass far more. I say that because in my last video, I mentioned that the way Xbox has everything set up on their platform, it far exceeds anything Sony showed so far in their subscription service. I'm talking about playing on multiple platforms like PC, console, and of course the cloud, something that Sony is nowhere near ready to apply on their platform and infrastructure. And instead of admitting that their infrastructure couldn't handle something like that, Jim Ryan is saying that their games investment would need to change and the quality of their games would take a knock. In fact, let's just get into exactly what he had to say. We feel like we are in a good, vicarious cycle with the studios, explains PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan, where the investment delivers success, which enables yet more investment, which delivers yet more success. We like that cycle, and we think our gamers like that cycle. He continues, in terms of putting our own games into the service or any of our services upon their release, as you well know, this is not a road that we've gone down in the past. And it's not a road that we're going to go down with this new service. We feel if we were to do that with the games that we make at PlayStation Studios, that virtuous cycle will be broken. The level of investment that we need to make in our studios would not be possible. And we think the knock-on effect on the quality of the games that we make would not be something that gamers want. Okay, so this is very well said by Jim Ryan because he was a little bit of a wordsmith going on with this one. The first thing I'm going to say is that they do have a cycle of bringing out their games. And to some extent, yes, their fans do love that cycle, and it worked the entire PlayStation 4 generation and PlayStation 3 generation. A generation, I might add, that didn't have Game Pass until the very tail end of it. And that's the difference. Gamers have seen something different, and it might be something they actually want. In fact, this article right here says that Game Pass accounts for 60% of the gaming subscription market. Here's what it had to say. Gaming subscription services account for around 4% of the total gaming revenue in the North American and European gaming markets. According to Piers Harding Rolls of Empiri Analyst and reported by Axios, the figure comes out to around $3.7 billion of the nearly $81 billion of revenue generated for games. The figure includes physical game sales, digital game sales, DLC, and microtransactions. Microsoft's Xbox Game Pass has a commanding lead in the video game subscription service space with around 60% of said market. The service has grown to over 25 million subscribers, with members paying up to $15 per month. Okay, so Game Pass, a service that's been picking up steam for the last 2 years, has taken over the gaming subscription market by a lot. 60% is a massive take, and if we look at the numbers, that accounts for $3.7 billion of nearly $81 billion generated from games. That's pretty good for a service that's just bringing them steady stream of revenue. Yet, let's go back and see what Jim Ryan is saying when he talks about putting his games on a service like PlayStation Plus. The reason he's talking about this is obvious. It's because Sony understands gamers want this, and no matter what anyone else says and whatever their fan base says, people want this. Because surprise, I own a PlayStation 5 and I'm a part of their fan base, and I want them to do this. Yet the one thing people aren't talking about is the fact that he said they just can't invest in something like that. They can't invest in their studios, and it would just not be possible for them to do that. Which, if we take a step back, we can see what he's talking about. Look at the amount of investment Xbox has put into their Xbox first-party games. From over $7.5 billion invested in ZeniMax to $70 billion invested in Activision Blizzard. Not to mention, they also invested in their first-party Xbox game studios a ton by buying new studios, expanding studios, giving studios second studios. Sony sees the 35-plus game studios and all the investment Xbox made and realized they couldn't compete with first-party games, or at least the amount of games Xbox will bring out on Game Pass. This is exactly what drove Google out of Stadia. Microsoft's investments have put other studios and other game companies on notice. So it's no surprise Sony sees this and has to think before they do the same thing, because they just can't have the same amount of money that Xbox has. Yet for me, I think it can help their games if they expand and become multi-platform, which Jim Ryan said they're moving towards that. In fact, him saying that this will knock their games down is actually not a good thing, because multiple studios and publishers have expressed how good those subscription services help them, which is mentioned right here. Ryan's view on this isn't unique to Sony. Most AAA publishers are reluctant to put their most recent games into subscription services. The counter-argument is that by putting your latest titles into PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass, you're potentially widening your audience. Overnight, your new release could have tens of millions of players, and if your game has other forms of monetization in it, then the revenue potential is significant. And even if your game doesn't have microtransaction, Xbox believes that subscriptions combined with streaming is the key to finding new console players. And this is what the data has shown time and time again. Developers that go on Game Pass have been extremely happy with the results they saw. Not to mention, other publishers like EA and Ubisoft have subscription services of their own, so that's something most people fail to mention. Two of the biggest publishers in gaming are doing what Microsoft is doing, which again is another massive publisher in the gaming market making a subscription service. If anything, the numbers suggest that what Microsoft is doing is the right way to expand gaming and get more people. Because let's be real, all we want to do is have gaming grow, and we want more people to be playing games that can continue to make even more games that we love. That's the whole point of this: expand and grow. Something that gaming has been doing for several years now. In fact, it's one of the fastest growing businesses in the world right now. The market is booming. So I fully expect Sony to follow suit to what Xbox is doing, and I expect this to be the first step in that direction, because it's exactly what Xbox did before they put their first party titles in Game Pass day and date. Now, of course, things could change, and that's exactly what Jim Ryan said right when they announced this new subscription service. I have a feeling it's going to change to what the competition is doing, and that's what Sony's going to do. They're going to put their games in there day and date, maybe not this year, maybe not next year, but sooner or later, they're going to see the subscription services blow up, and they're going to want a piece of that pie, and that's exactly what every company is going to be doing. But enough of what I think about all this. Tell me what you think about this. Do you like Microsoft's response to Sony? Do you think Sony's going to follow suit of what Microsoft is doing? Is Xbox Game Pass sustainable with 25 million subscribers, or do they need to hit a certain number? When do you think Sony's going to do this? Because just rebranding PlayStation Now isn't the way to go. And do you think they have the infrastructure to even do something like Game Pass? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button to support us out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamertag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I played, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, as you can tell, I've been playing Elden Ring like always. Trust me, I know. I have like 150 hours in the game. I love every minute of it. It's such an expansive world, such a massive world, and it's just so much fun to play. I also just got Tiny Tina's Wonderland, so I'm going to be jumping into that on my Xbox. I'm looking forward to it. I've heard a lot of good things. I know a couple of my friends are playing it, so I love that it's co-op. You get to go in there, and I know it's a massive change of pace to what Elden Ring provides because it's a little more forgiving, and it gives you a little better gameplay advice because you know what? You don't have to fight everything, and you don't have to always use your brain. It's kind of like mind-numbing to me. I love games like that, especially after playing Elden Ring where you have to concentrate so much because every boss can take you out with one hit. So yeah, a little less intense of a game, so looking forward to that. But let me know what you're playing. Are you playing something on your Xbox, your PlayStation 5, or your PC? Let me know what you're playing down below because that's what we're here for. This is Talk Games. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.